Hi, this is Michael Buckoff from BetterTOEFLScores.com. Today, I want to talk about how your grammar will be evaluated on the TOEFL iBT. The good news is that the TOEFL iBT does not have a kill and drill grammar section like the paper-based TOEFL, so you don't have to worry about A, B, C, and D grammar questions. Nevertheless, your grammar will be evaluated by human raters in the independent and integrated speaking sections. First, let's talk about the grammar and the independent speaking section of the TOEFL iBT. On the independent speaking section, ETS, Educational Testing Service, states that you will need good control of basic and complex grammar structures. Now you might be thinking to yourself, what is the difference between basic and complex grammar structures? I will now explain the difference between these two kinds of structures. Basic grammatical structures, I'll give you some types of structures: past, present, future, progressive verbs, yes, no questions, WH questions, positive, negative statements, expletives like there is, there are, it is, nouns, regular, irregular, count, non-count nouns, using pronouns as subjects, objects, possessives, reflexives, articles and prepositions, comparative adjectives and adverbs, other types of adverbs and adjectives, regular and irregular superlatives, subject-verb agreement, and modals, necessity, lack of necessity, making suggestions, advisability. These are words like may, might, can, could, passive verbs, and adverb clauses of time. These are all examples of basic structures. On the other hand, there's also complex basic structures. Complex grammatical structures, Adjective clauses, reduce adjective clauses with active and passive meanings. Noun clauses, reduce noun clauses, gerunds, infinitives, adverb clauses, cause-effect, adverb clauses, conditional, wishes, connectives of contrast, connectives, cause-effect, connectives of condition. The important thing is, with both basic and complex grammatical structures, you want to take some risks. Now, I know you're going to use basic grammar when you're speaking, but you don't want to only use basic grammar. Now, if you use complex grammatical structures and you make a few errors, you can actually still get a pretty good score. Now, in addition to having good control of basic and complex grammar structures, you will need to avoid errors which obscure meaning. However, you can make minor or systematic errors. The following examples will demonstrate the difference between errors which obscure meaning and then the minor errors. Here's an example of an error which obscures meaning. I'm going to give you two sentences right now. The woman suggests that the student talk to a counselor. Then he tells the student to come to her office tomorrow afternoon. Now the problem is the first sentence starts with the word the woman, and then in the second sentence the speaker uses he to refer back to the woman. Now that actually causes a meaning problem. It almost sounds like you're now talking about two people. Now here's a systematic error which does not obscure meaning. This is a minor type of error. If you say the woman suggests that the student talk to a counselor, then she tells the student to come to her office tomorrow afternoon. So even though the speaker uses the plural form of suggest instead of the singular form suggests, it does not obscure meaning. And that the speaker may commit this error several times during the speech qualifies it as a systematic error. So what do you get out of this? You want to use grammar which doesn't interfere in your ability to communicate. But at the same time, you don't have to be perfect. Okay, now let's talk about grammar and the integrated speaking section of the TOEFL iBT. This is the one that kills most students. So pay attention. On the integrated speaking section of the TOEFL iBT, ETS stipulates that you have good control of basic and complex grammar structures that allow for coherent, efficient, automatic expression of relevant ideas. That's a lot of words right there, so you might not even know what in the heck I'm talking about. So, to illustrate what this means, suppose that you're being asked to speak on a reading passage. The reading passage is about a business concept. Let's say it's called the law of supply and demand. Moreover, suppose that you're also being asked to speak on a lecture which gives a practical example of how this concept is applied to a real-life situation. You got it? To begin your speech, you will need to create a topic statement connecting the two sources, thereby giving you an opportunity to use complex grammar to connect the two sources of information. Therefore, in using a topic statement in response to the question, how is the listening passage related to the information in the reading passage, you might say something like the following. The reading passage discusses a business concept called the law of supply and demand, and the listening passage is related to the reading because it discusses a real-life example of the previously discussed business concept. As you can see in the example, the writer uses a compound complex sentence to connect the two sources of information. For more information, you can go to my website at www.michaelbuckoff.com.